and get started. Good evening. Welcome to the Scott Boulevard Water Main Replacement Project. This is phase 3. This evening, we're going to give you information on this project. This information is going to allow you to understand the scope of the project, the time of the project, and the area of impact, and why we're coming in with the project. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. Thank you for allowing some of your time. My name is David Hayes. I am Director of Watershed Management, and we will have a slew of watershed professionals here this evening to tell you more about the project and what's happening here. A little bit about myself. I am the Director of Watershed Management appointed by CEO Michael Thurman. Just over 2 years. I'm a licensed water profession for just over 35 years, and I've been a long time employee of DeKalb now, just at 28 years. This project is going to take place within District 4 and District 6. District 4 is Commissioner Bradshaw, District 6, Commissioner Terry. It's because of the commission and their support that we are able to come in to manage this project and take care of this project. I do see that we have Ms. Robin Flagg in here. She is an assistant to Commissioner Bradshaw. Ms. Flagg, would you like to have a couple of words this evening?
Hi, yeah, I'm Robin. I'm here representing Commissioner Bradshaw tonight. So we're excited to hear what's going on, and if anybody has any questions, you can also shoot me an email, and I will make sure that Director Hayes gets them and gets an answer back to you. I'll pop my email in the chat as well for everybody.
Very good. Thank you, Robin. So let's start talking about what's going on here. Let's talk about watershed management and what we do in watershed. Next slide, please. Watershed management, we provide water and wastewater services for the entire DeKalb County. That includes just over 750 residents in DeKalb County. We service these residents in DeKalb County by providing them with drinking water. Our drinking water facility, Scott Candler, they have the ability to treat up to 128 million gallons of drinking water per day. This drinking water comes from the Chattahoochee River. Our current demand across DeKalb County is just at 70 million gallons of drinking water per day. Next slide, please. Once that water goes out into the community of DeKalb County, we send that water out using our distribution system. That distribution system is comprised of just over 3,000 linear miles of pipe. Once the water is used, it's then collected through our collection system and sent back to the DeKalb County treatment plants for treatment to be released to the receiving streams for others to use downstream. We have the capacity to treat 56 million gallons of wastewater per day. We're currently averaging in DeKalb County just at around 36 million gallons of wastewater that's being treated. And that wastewater, it's collected with about 2,500 miles of sewer pipe. So in total, we have just at 5,000 miles of pipe in the ground throughout DeKalb County. Put that in perspective for you, that's enough pipe if extended end to end it will extend from Georgia to California and back. It's a large amount of pipe. Next slide, please. So the DeKalb County Watershed Management Engineering and Construction Management Division, what are we doing here this evening? The Engineering Construction Management Division, they're going to lead us in this project. What has happened? The pipe in the grounds inside of DeKalb County, they are aged pipe. A great deal of them have reached their end of life expectancy. Some have flaws and defects from the manufacturer that didn't allow them to last as long as designed. So it's causing a great problem. We have a huge amount of water main breaks throughout DeKalb County, and those breaks, it makes it very inconvenient for residents. It wastes precious water resources, and it could cause issues with health if we allow contaminants to get into our system. So what are we going to do here today? We're going to try to reduce these water main breaks. And when we reduce these water main breaks, that helps improve our customer service and helps build reliability in our system. With reduced breaks, great reliability, great customer service, what that yields is a robust system that will allow future growth for DeKalb County. And so our goal is to improve DeKalb County's infrastructure so that we can continue to be leaders within the state of Georgia. Next slide, please. So how are we going to do this? Our engineering and construction management team, they put together a very robust group of professionals. Here on this slide, you see that we have Garney, AECOM, Prime Engineering, and Tetra Tech. Garney is going to be our boots on the ground, putting that pipe in the ground for us. And then we have project managers, Tetra Tech and Prime Engineering, and AECOM. They help design, they're going to help ensure that the pipe gets in the ground properly, and they're going to help us collect this data to understand what pipe has been updated and the conditions of the pipe. So with this team, we are hoping to get this pipe in the ground on time, on budget, with very few issues. We're going to come in, we know it's going to be a little inconveniencing for some of the people in the area, but with this team, we're going to minimize those inconveniences and again, improve the infrastructure that will allow DeKalb County to continue to be leaders. Next slide, please. The next person you're going to hear from is Ms. Cassandra Marshall. Ms. Marshall is our Assistant Director of our Capital Improvement Project program. She's going to tell you a little bit more about the problem and then tell you what we're doing to resolve this problem. Ms. Marshall.
Thank you, Director Hayes. Good evening. My name is Cassandra Marshall. I am the Assistant Director for the Capital Improvement Program for Watershed Management. I have served at Watershed Management for a little over 10 years now. However, I've been in my field for over 20 plus years. I'm a licensed water professional and I'm also a certified project manager. I'm responsible for managing the DWM construction management staff and overseeing the $2.4 billion CIP program. Next slide. So the number one problem is we pretty much have an aged system. This is primarily due to the infrastructure being installed in the 1950s. In this area, the county has been faced with over 49 water main breaks from 1989 to 2022. The pipe material in this area is primarily steel pipe. The lifespan for this pipe is 70 plus years, but it actually depends upon the pipe condition and the working environment. In addition, the pipe age, this area has multiple high pressure gas mains, which have created a corrosive environment for our water main, which has caused the pipe to deteriorate quickly. Next slide. So the county has over 3,000 miles of water distribution pipe in the system and provides drinking water to the ratepayers. We have 4 pressure zones, 21 water storage facilities, 16 pumping stations, and 6 pressure regulating gauges. As you can see, this is a large system to maintain. Most of the system is aged and cannot be repaired or replaced all at once. Therefore, the county had to develop a best practice way to evaluate and prioritize how and when the piping will be replaced. The first objective was to model the system. In 2019, the county developed its first hydraulic model. A hydraulic water model is a computer simulation of the water system. The model can provide a big picture look at how the system should be functioning. For example, it details such as system pressures, available water pressures at fire hydrants, and how the tank levels affect the system. To develop the model, we use the county GIS data, metadata of water usage from the billing system facilities data, such as the water storage facilities and regulated stations. Field testing was conducted to validate the data, and then the model was calibrated. This data was ultimately used to develop the county master plan and to prioritize projects. Next slide. So I will now speak about the solution and the execution of the CIP project. So what does CIP stand for? Well, CIP, or a capital improvement project, is a project that helps maintain or improve an asset. It can either be new construction, an expansion, renovation, or replacement of an existing infrastructure. This project is the replacement of an existing old steel water main pipe. Last year, the Board of Commissioners approved a CIP program for $2.4 billion for projects to be completed from 2021 to 2030. The Scott Boulevard Phase 3 water main replacement project is a $20 million project within that plan. My team, the CIP team, is responsible for getting that work done. My team includes 4 DWM construction managers and 12 licensed inspectors. Later in the presentation, you will also hear from the DWM construction project manager, Mr. Edgardo Amasquita, who has 20 years plus of construction management experience and is a licensed water professional. Along with in-house staff, we are also supported by consulting firms who help assist the county with construction management and inspection services. So what we want you to know is we're here to help. We want to reduce or eliminate emergency repairs. We want to stop breaks. We want to protect the environment. And finally, after the project is completed, we want to improve sustainability to the system. These improvements should last a minimum of 100+ years. Next slide. You will now hear from Mr. Pavel Vayner, the principal engineer for the project, about the scope and the overview.
Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is Pavel Vayner, and I'm principal engineer, and I'm engineering project manager on this project. I have 37 years of experience in design, construction, and maintenance of water and wastewater infrastructure. Next slide, please. What planned work include in this project? Installation about 9,000 linear feet of 30-inch ductile iron pipe, mainly inside of the right-of-way under the existing pavement, as well as 6-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch and 16-inch water mains. The existing street will be milled and resurfaced when the water main installation is complete. The existing 30-inch steel pipe will be abandoned in place and filled with non-shrink grout. The site conditions will be not altered from the existing. All distributed pavement and landscape, disturbed pavement and landscaping will be placed in kind. No more than 200 feet of trench will be open at one time and must be backfilled daily. Next slide, please. There will be about 300 to 400 residents impacted by the project. Project areas is located in DeKalb County along the following streets: Maple Street, East College Avenue, Brown Place, Livingston Place, Craigie Avenue, Forest Boulevard, North Carter Road, Chester Way, Russell Drive, and South Columbia Drive. Next slide, please. And just now I want to introduce our construction project manager, Edgardo Mosquito.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Edgardo Amasquita, and I will be responsible for the field work that's happening on this project. I will be working closely with the contractor and the engineers to bring this project in on time and on budget. I will also have a staff of inspectors who will be in the field on a daily basis, reporting up the chain of command. And a little bit about me. Yes, I have 27 years experience in construction management, especially working with infrastructure work. Next slide, please. Next, yes. So the main thing here is that the method of this construction will be open cut. And open cut basically means that we will cut the asphalt. We're gonna dig our trench, install the new water line. Then we go backfilling the trench and replacing the asphalt. Next slide, please. In the community notices, so there will be a community notice sent out May 15th. And that'll be probably one of the first notices that will be sent out. It'll give you basic information of what the project is going to be and how, the time durations and that so forth. Then we will prepare for mobilization around May 30th. That's when you're actually going to start seeing contractors bringing equipment. You'll start seeing construction workers. They'll be more visible. And then the construction start date will be actually June 5th. This is hardcore work. We'll be digging, we'll be cutting trenches. And that's when that's where the construction really gets going. Our final restoration, which includes paving and restoration of grass and those sort of things, March 1st, 2024. And then we will try to end this project construction end date, March 31st, 2024. Well, will consist of punch list items. And at that point, we will make sure that everything is replaced and put back the way we found it. If there are any issues, we try to take care of all that stuff before we close out the project. Next slide, please. So my responsibility and the team's responsibility that I have in the field will be there to ensure that erosion control and sediment controls are in place. We are ensuring proper installation of the new water line. We take the communication with our residents very seriously. We ensure traffic control is maintained, and above all, we ensure safety measurements are followed. Not only for the construction worker, but for the residents and anybody in the vicinity of this project. Next slide, please. Here is just kind of a overview of what you'll see. Trenches being cut and filled and worked on, and then we'll come in and lay our asphalt down. Thank you. And now Ms. Marshall will finish the presentation.
Thank you, Edgardo. So at this time, I will now talk about community concerns and what you should be aware of. Next slide, please. Well, what comes with construction are inconveniences. However, we do want to try to minimize those inconveniences. What you're going to see is a lot of construction traffic, foot and vehicles, large dump trucks, and heavy equipment. There will be construction workers, county employees, and contracted workers throughout your community. There will be material and equipment deliveries by means of large tractor trailers. However, there will be crews and flaggers that will guide these large vehicles in and out of the area. Work zones will be delineated by orange cones or barrels. Also, as a security measure, all county contractors and county employees will have identification badges issued by the county, as well as marked vehicles. They can either be a company logo on the vehicles, or they must have a generic DeKalb County contractor sign. There will be increased noise from the equipment backup alarms. There'll be heavy equipment usage, saw cutting of the asphalt, and most importantly, traffic delays due to the lane closures. Our typical work hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, and sometimes weekend. However, lane closures will only occur from 9 to 4 p.m. In addition, all property owners will have access to their driveways during construction, and notifications will be distributed prior to any water service disruption. You may also see silt on the street or dust, which could be tracked by the equipment. However, the contractor is responsible for keeping the streets clean and swept daily. Next slide. So this sign at the bottom left of the screen is an example of a sign we require our contractors to install prior to starting work in the area. These signs are to be placed in the view of the line of traffic and on every street impacted at a minimum of 72 hours prior to start of construction. And on the bottom right-hand side is an example of the DeKalb County generic contractor signs to be placed on vehicles that are unmarked. Next slide. So the contractor will provide traffic control to guide residents throughout the construction area. The photo to the right is a message board, which will be one of the primary traffic devices utilized on DeKalb Industrial Way for lane closures. In addition, prior to starting construction, message boards will be installed to alert the community that the actual construction has begun. Next slide. Next, you will hear from the communications outreach specialist, Ms. Sanice Latson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanice Latson, and I'm the CIP Public Outreach Specialist responsible for communications and outreach on this project. Tonight, I will share with you the methods DWM will utilize to communicate with you about this project. But before I do that, I want to briefly recap what has occurred so far within the community. Next slide, please. Leading up to tonight's meeting, you received notification describing the details of the project and informing you of tonight's meeting. Going forward, you will receive a notification letter 21 days in advance of construction and 48 to 72 hours before beginning construction. Each homeowner will receive a door hanger like the one shown here, which will tell you the hours of work and what to expect during construction. We will also use Gov Delivery and e-blast notification service to communicate with you. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to provide your email address in the chat so that we can capture that information for future use. The next slide, please. These are the touch points we'll use to communicate. First, we have the project hotline, which includes a 1-800 phone number and email address. We will also have a dedicated web page for the project, which will have tonight's presentation posted there, as well as the project information. We will use our Twitter and Facebook social media platforms to share updates on this project. And we will also use news releases and the county's weekly newsletter entitled The Relay to share information as needed. Other ways we will connect with you are DCTV, which is DeKalb County Television, the Next Door Neighborhood platform, project signs through our contractors, and frequently asked questions posted to the website. Next slide, please. Okay, listed here, you will find key contact information for the project. Most important is our dedicated project hotline and email address. Also listed here are the contact names of the engineering and construction team for the project. Finally, we have the 24-hour dispatch number if any emergency arises outside of the normal business hours. Next slide, please. And with that, this concludes our presentation. We thank you so much for your time this evening, and we will now move into the question and answer period of the presentation.
Thank you, team, for that great presentation and wonderful information. I hope it is information that was well received and that you have a better understanding on what we're going to be doing and why we're in your community. At this time, are there any questions? Team, you did such a great job. We don't have any questions. Everyone understands what we're doing. Again, I appreciate it. So I would like to reinforce that Watershed is going to come into your community, and we're going to improve the community by replacing the infrastructure that will allow us to provide better service to you, to provide better product to you. It will be a little inconveniencing, but the team will do their best to manage all inconveniences and allow you to not have to endure a long period of construction. We will definitely make sure that we get in there, get this project taken care of, and get out. And we're going to return the community better than we found it. So note that you're in great hands, and this is DeKalb County's A-team that's out there taking care of you, and we will hope to impress at the end of this project. Thank you. Have a great evening.